People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. It's always appreciated, and I'm always appreciative of your support. Now, Fridays equals Q&A days. People, before I get into it, I'm not going to lie, this is mad random, but I've clocked on my camera. You can actually turn the screen around, so I can actually see myself when I'm recording now, and it's a bit weird. It keeps throwing me off. I mean, out of all my YouTube vids, we're touching about 4,000. This is probably the thing that's weirded me out the most. Like, I'm just watching my mouth move. But back to this, people. Fridays equals Q&A days. It's a chance for me to interact with you guys and give back. And like I said, you know, before the end of the year, this won't be a thing as frequently or in the same format, but I do enjoy it, and I'm always appreciative of the support. Like I said, you know, I've got fans, or you lot are from all different parts of the world. I saw Canada, America, Saudi Arabia, all these mad places, you know, places I'd love to go to. You know, I've only seen in books. To know people are actually from there and they watch my videos, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a scary thing. But moving forward, really, I should have taken off this other top because it's hot. I didn't expect this, but let's crack on with the questions asked of myself firstly via Twitter. Mr. DJ says, with the proposed idea of allowing a limited number of fans back into the ground scrapped next month in the UK, can you foresee more lower league clubs fold in the new year, or will the FA help out these lower league teams in terms of non-league TV money clubs? Do you think we'll see fans at grounds in 2020? I don't think we'll see. Well, technically we have seen fans at grounds, because, you know, a lot of teams were trialling. A lot of, you know, I think Brighton and Chelsea and their friendly did it. I believe a couple of National League sides were trialling getting fans back. So technically they've been there. But I don't see it, because, you know, just going on the government language and the guidelines, it doesn't imply that we're going to see football fans anytime soon within stadiums and whatnot, which is sad. Clearly, you know, the ones at the bottom are going to feel it a bit more harsher. I'm not really a finance man, but from a, you know, a love of the game point of view, you would love to see, not that anybody's necessarily obligated, but you would love to see bigger clubs and bigger organisations help out where they can to prevent clubs from going under and clubs from going bust. And obviously we look at clubs, but we don't look at the people. You know, there's many people that got families that are paying their bills, using that job to pay their bills. You know, some men have probably been at clubs for 20 years, since they left school till now, and they're probably in their 50s, and they've acted with complete integrity. So it's sad to see these perspective things. Obviously, I know for myself, football can be a refuge. Football can, you know, when you're going through a lot of problems, playing football can be the best remedy. Watching football on TV can. But I know personally, when I was suffering a bit mentally and I felt like, you know, life wasn't getting anywhere, you know, the Emirates was an escape. You know, just being around fans, hearing the buzz, I can't explain it. It was a sense of belonging. So if there's anybody going through things like that or feel lonely, then I feel sorry for them, because they're obviously prevented from, you know, getting that remedy that I'm talking about. So I don't think that, I would love to see people help out where they can. I don't think it will happen, and I'd love to see fans back in sooner rather than later. But once again, my dude, I can't see it happening personally. Daniel said, big up DG, you are my inspiration, bro. Bro, thank you very much, man. That means a lot. I don't know how to speak about that. I'm just a man making videos. To know I've inspired someone means the world. But my guy, your only inspiration should be yourself. Look in the mirror, forgive yourself for the past, look to the future, you know. Be in competition with yourself, prove to yourself that you can do things that you've told yourself you can't do. You're an inspiration in your own right, my guy. Trust me. Go and look in the mirror, G yourself up, and go and tackle your goals. But you've asked me thoughts on Donny van der Beek, and do you think he's better than Ceballos? Well, I'm an Arsenal man. I'm going to go with Ceballos, but I mean, there's not one's clear of the other. I like Van der Beek and his qualities. I like his box-to-boxness. I like his tenacity. I like the way he links up play. He obviously can chip in with a few goals. Ironically, you know, he's known for goals, or, you know, getting into the final third. He had the debut to forget, not that he played poor, but they lost, but he managed to score. I think he'll be a good option in United's squad. You know, with him, Bruno, Pogba, they'll all have a part to play. I like Van der Beek, and I think, I won't say he's the most underrated signing of the summer, but I do think people underestimate the qualities that he has in himself, sort of thing. So I think he's going to be a good player. I'm going to say Ceballos is better than him until he starts, you know, showing what he can do for United. Of course, I'm going to be a bit biased in that. I think it's either or, to be fair with you. Thomas said, how are you doing, DG? Thank you very much, Tom. I'm doing Kushti. You said, does Morata's departure from Atletico make them more likely to sign Lacazette, or will this sale be used to provide João Felix more game time? Not too sure on how it affects João Felix game time, but you've heard a lot of, well, you know, I don't think it will mean Lacazette because they've just spent 5-6 million on bringing Luis Suarez to their club, sort of thing, my guy. So they've signed Suarez. There's talk of Cavani. Torreira's irrelevant, but they're bringing in Torreira. It seems that Uruguay/South America energy is returning itself back to Atletico. And, you know, I'd assume if they do sign Cavani on a free transfer, you know, the wages aren't going to be cheap. Equally, Suarez is going to be a pretty penny also as well, my guy. So we'll have to literally see, man, in that regards, really. We have to see in that regards. But I think the Lacazette and Atletico boat has passed personally. If you sign Cavani for his wages and you've got Luis Suarez, you know, are you really going to give Lacazette the big deal he probably wants at 28, 29, last big deal? You know, is he going to play frequently in your team? Do you even need a striker? You know, you probably priorities elsewhere if and when they do confirm the signing of Cavani, because that's all speculation. Suarez appears official. So I'm not too sure it means anything for Lacazette. You also said, which of our legends deserve the next stadium outside the Emirates and why? Should it be Ian Wright? Without a doubt, it should be Ian Wright. You know, I'd like to see Patrick Vieira if he hasn't got one already. But you know, it's amazing how Ian Wright ain't got that, you know, really and truly. So they need to go and commission that. So yeah, without a doubt, Ian Wright should be in line to grab that, to be fair with you, really and truly. Let's go to the questions asked of myself via Twitter. 1 second, I've got a work email. Sorry, people, man. I had to reply to that. Like, don't tell the boss. Don't tell the boss. Soon leaving, but don't tell the gaffer, man. Like, you got to do what you got to do. It's me or them, people. It's like, I either build my future or I build someone else's. Like, fun fact, do you know how many videos I make when I should have this laptop open and these work emails? You got to take that risk, man. It's me or them, you know. I used to feel some sort of way about it, and then I thought, you know what, you got to get out of the mud, man. It's me or them. I'm just going to keep building the next man's dream, or I'm going to build my own dream, sort of thing. So yeah, people, half the time, especially when I'm on live with Ransom Batiste, like, I'm actually supposed to be at work. That's why more time the emails are open like that, just in case. I just got an email, people. My heart dropped, but it's from Uber Eats. So good luck to me for being a fat twat. It's not anyone bothering me. But let's go to the questions asked via YouTube. You said, hey, Deluded. Well, Marquis said, hey, Deluded, wishing you Godspeed. My question is, with the lack of general patience in the modern game amongst some fans, in the case of Arsenal, do you think this pandemic with fans not being able to attend games has possibly helped Arsenal's first team and Mikel Arteta in his preparation of implementing his ideas and philosophy among the team? Yes and no. I do think, you know, and I told this to my Sunday League team, you know, a couple of times people have got angry at fans and told our fans and opposition fans to calm down. I always say they're relevant, but they're irrelevant. Like the fans on my team, I call them the 12th man. They get us going. But same time, when you're on that field, you should be able to, fans are irrelevant. You should air it. All that matters is your team, the men that you're in the trenches with, the enemy, and what your manager's saying. If you're listening to fans where they play a part, then mentally, I don't think you're able to play for Arsenal or any big club, in my humble opinion, you know. And actually, you know, we could say it's got an adverse effect, because there's been games where we've looked a bit sloppy, where maybe the fans' energy and that 12th man would have boosted us. There's been numerous times of that. In fact, Arteta makes a big case of the fans and needing to show them levels and whatnot. And I think even before the lockdown, we were seeing a bit of fight with the fans. That being said, you know, obviously, I'm not going to lie, maybe with the fans not in the ground, it's maybe made it a bit less tense for players. You know, some players are not I don't want to say the strongest, but like, I can't find the word, but not the strongest in terms of personalities and stuff. So maybe there has been some truth, but I think fans should be irrelevant. You know, you've got a week on a training base where there's no fans, apart from journalists, there's no fans, and then you've got a match day, so it shouldn't play any relevance, but I don't think it does. But I'm not going to lie, you could say there is some truth in what you're saying, my guy. It probably has. In terms of, you know, it can get a bit toxic. You know, fans, you know, at the Emirates, we are a very hard to impress bunch. I wouldn't say we're the loudest. Our nerves, you can sense fans' nerves, myself included, because I'm there very quickly and it can filter into the team. It's down to the team to to remove these insecurities from fans. You know, if the fans see the players setting levels, we'll set the levels. Obviously, sometimes the fans aren't going, the players will G them up, or the players aren't going, the fans will G them up. Do you get it? Vice versa thing. But it's down to the players. If you forget the fans, if you just focus on Arteta's siege mentality and dying for the cause and, you know, the effort and the pressing and the rest of it, that energy will feed off to the fans and they'll get you going. You need to set the levels. Players should be the ones to get fans going, not the other way around. You need your 12th man. You need that energy. But if you do your job, fans will, you know, do their thing. But I do think there is some truth in that, my guy. It's a good question, man. It's true, but at the end of the day, booing, positive comments, negative comments, I'm not being funny. These are professional footballers. You should be able to deal with it, you know, and if you can't, you need to remove yourself from the Premier League, in my opinion. Andrew said, regarding the Zaha rumours, how would this affect our team? Do you believe Arteta will play Aubameyang centre with Zaha on the left, or would he be a better fit as a cam? Keep up the great content. Big up from Melbourne, Australia. First and foremost, you know, big ass country like Australia, and you're watching my thing and you're many hours ahead. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. Zaha, I'm not going to lie, Zaha's a player I got a lot of time for. So on the emotional side of me, I'm taking Zaha every day of the week, you know. That being said, you know, with the options we've got out wide now and in them sort of roles, I think Zaha would be a good fit. I would welcome Zaha, but for me now, when them sort of things are stopped, do we go for some? We need to go for someone if we're going to bring someone in, like heaps and bounds above the wide options we have. Like, you know, if Alexis Sanchez was at Barcelona right now when he was doing his thing, and you went and got him, that's cool because he's better than everyone. Is Zaha better on the left wing than Aubameyang? Whether that's Aubameyang's role or that, probably. But is he more productive in that role? Is he going to track back as much? Do you get it? We've got Pepe now. Some man will say Pepe's better, Zaha's better, Premier League proven. You know, it's either or, you know, one is not glaringly better, you know. I'd have preferred to bring in Zaha than Willian, but I like Willian as a footballer. You know, Willian's doing his thing and he's alright. And if I know Zaha started off the season better, but he didn't have the best of goal returns last season. I think Zaha would be a great option, you know. We could use him, you know, if you want to keep Aubameyang through the middle, not that I get it, I'd agree with it, but you can actually play Zaha through the centre where Lacazette would be, like you've seen with Palace. You could play him behind people in that sort of free ball, and you could play him on the flanks. Think he'd be a good addition to complement the side, but I just feel for the fee Palace would want to require, it's probably not the wisest of options. If we can do something creative, give them a little Nelson on loan or a Chambers permanently or something like that, or throw in an El Nene or a Mustafi, great, it would be brilliant. But yeah, off topic, I don't know why Arsenal don't try and flog Mustafi to West Ham, you know. Isn't that his former manager David Moyes from his Everton days? Not that he played a first team appearance. But I would like Zaha. I think Arteta would find a role with him, but I don't think it's a priority. I would like to see more midfielders. If I'm happy with anywhere, it's our wide options. Like I don't think anyone's perfect, but I'm cool with Aubameyang being out there, with Bukayo Saka, with Martinelli, with Willian, with Pepe. I'm cool. Unless something, like I said, if something or someone becomes available that's better than these, man, you know, then go out and bring it. But I think our priority should be central midfield now. You know, I'm still not convinced with our centre-half options, but I do believe, obviously, with Gabriel, with Saliba when he gets his opportunity, you know, Holding's doing his thing now. I like David Luiz, but we all know who David Luiz is. I wouldn't say we're perfect there, but we're kind of cool. There's some ingredients for Arteta to make a decent defensive meal and actually have an okay, competent defence and options to do such. Because what I would like to see with our defenders, you know, it's one thing playing well, it's another thing playing well consistently. And for me, you know, Gabriel and Saliba should be the first choice centre-half pairings. But, you know, let's just say that is it. When they're not playing, or one's playing, or, you know, Tierney's not playing, Maitland-Niles is, or Suarez is playing at right back, it's not Bellerin, I don't want to see a massive drop-off in quality in how we defend and our level of defending. And I think that's the next goal for Arsenal. Nathan Brown has said, if you were part of the transfer process at Arsenal, how would you operate regarding recruitment and what sort of players would you be looking for? The first one, you know, I think in the case of Torreira and his wanting a way to go back to Italy and things like that, and Guendouzi's behaviour problems that are kind of well documented, I know clubs do a lot of due diligence around the profile and, you know, how they are off the field and their outlook and stuff. But I think Arsenal need to scrutinise that a bit more as well. You know, the personality of these players. But it's simple, you know. I want players that are brave. That doesn't mean flying into 50,000 tackles. That means, you know, you've tried one pass 10 times and it's worked. The 11th time you've given the ball away and the other team has scored. Are you going to try that pass again if the opportunity permits itself? You know, how do you react when things aren't going? It's all fun and games being able to play under the carpet at the Emirates when we're winning 3-0. How do you react when you're playing on a plastic pitch in some mad place in Europe on a Thursday evening away from home and it's going against you? You know, I like to look at players away from home because I think when the going gets tough and you're away from home, that tells you everything. I like to look at a player's warm-up if I can as well, sort of thing. But in short, you know, I want brave players. I want players that are tactically smart and are a bit adaptable. Equally, I need players that are good technically. You need with a high technical level. There's no room for no technicians in this Arsenal team, you know. So that's what I would be looking at. Walida said, would selling Kolasinac be viable at the moment or not? Mainly a question regarding squad depth. If he stays, it'll be a cool option, but I think it'd be worth selling him because of his contract. I think with Maitland-Niles, with Bukayo Saka able to play there, with Kieran Tierney, if he stays fit, I think there is a case to look at bringing in another left-back, but I think we're cool in that region, you know. I think, obviously, you know, if Bellerin and Cedric Suarez are injured, Tierney's injured, much like you've seen with Arsenal when bare men are injured and we're down to our bare bones, we might be looking at Kolasinac a bit differently. But personally, I think it could be worth keeping him because we need depth, but equally someone I'd look to move on really because I think we've got that kind of covered. Diabolical said, what's your favourite genre to watch in movies/series? I don't have a favourite one, but I know what I don't like, and I don't like horrors. I'm not a horror man. I'd say if anything, I'm more the comedy sort of guy, really. Yeah, I'm more the comedic sort of guy, or you know, I like gripping dramas, like, you know, I like things filled with suspense and that. So I'd say that, man. I'd say that. Anything not horror though, mainly. Zach said, where would you fancy seeing Chris Hughton manage next? No clue, but I'd love to see him in the Premier League, man. Really and truly, I'd love to see him play in the Premier League. Patrick has said, how are you? Hope you and your family are good, my G. Thank you very much, my guy. They're doing sweet, and I hope the same can be said for you. You've got a couple of questions. You said West Brom's Pereira, baller or not, or is it too soon to say? It's too soon to say if you was going to say a thing like if he can do it in the Premier League. I know he scored a free kick, but only consistency will tell. For me personally, I like him a lot, man. I think he's a baller. You know, he can create. He's obviously a good free kick taker. It's just about can he do it in the Premier League, but I think he's a baller. And you was to say, if you were to integrate Ozil into the team, how would you do it? What formation? Well, he doesn't play in the free at the back formation. There's no way on him, you know. For me, Ozil would just be in the squad. You know, teams that I expect 2 banks of 4, I might find a creative mid-roll for you, go 4-4-3 or 4-2-3-1 and allow you to do your thing. Right now, if we're going to play this formation, I'm just having Ozil on the bench and last 20 minutes, can you give me something when we can't unpick the lock sort of thing. So that's how I would integrate him until otherwise. Smile Pleaser said, how are you, Tellez or Reguilon? Well, I like Tellez, but I'm a big fan of Reguilon. I'm ashamed to say he's gone to Spurs, but I'm going to have to say him. I think he's a good player. You know, he's not the tallest, but he put his body around. He's tenacious. He's aggressive. You know, he's very much a Jose Mourinho sort of player. I like him a lot, man. Omar said, how are you? I'm doing good. You said, my question is, would you mind us being knocked out of the Carabao Cup in order to prioritise the top 4 of the Europa League? I wouldn't, you know, knocked out for what reason? I wouldn't, you know, there's a squad big enough to do it. You know, we saw mad rotation last night, so I don't think the two are relevant, really and truly. You know, you put out a strong team where you can in both, really. And I mean, you play this final in February, so it shouldn't affect too much, really and truly. So I don't agree with being knocked out in order to prioritise them as such. Tracy has said, hello DG, just how useful a stat do you feel kilometers ran / kilometers covered is? It's a useful stat because in the modern day you need to run. It's all about how you contextualise that. It's like, what are you using that for? You know, are you looking to sign a midfielder? Okay, how much distance does he cover in this kilometers and how does it compare to your team? If he's a bit behind, you know, do you need to look at other targets? Can you compensate against that? Is there room to improve? You know, your fullback, how much, you know, fullbacks are modern day, they need to be up and down. How much ground does he cover in the field? It's all about how you contextualize it. I would say it's important, you know, if you're a manager and you need your striker to press, how much work rate does your striker get through? If the distance covered isn't matching, you know that striker, no matter how many goals he scores, might not be the man for you or woman for you, depending on what team you manage. And if they are you prepared to change how you play according to that player? You get it? So I would say it is quite useful. It just depends how you use it. Any young midfielders out there which come to mind with the ability to use both feet, such as our great Santi Cazorla? Off the top of my head, no, I don't. I think there are some both-footed players, but I wouldn't say using that ease. So yeah, man, that's a difficult one off the top of my head. KG has said, another unfair one to go straight off the top of your head, but would you mind putting in your Arsenal 11 of the last decade, let's say 2020 to 2019, 2010 to 2019? Well, I mean, it's 2010 to 20, my guy. So I'm not too sure. Again, we've had so many players. It's difficult to remember who actually played for this club. But I would say in goal, dare I say Leno already? I'll go with Leno already. Centre half, I'll go with Koscielny and Mertesacker, to be fair with you. Left back, I'm probably going to put Kieran Tierney in there. I feel sorry for Monreal. You know, Monreal can go in there, and he should really. But I think Tierney, I think Tierney's one of the best left backs I've seen since we've come to the Premier League. Since we've come to the Emirates. Monreal's been a consistent serviceman, but they're the only ones. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Clichy. I definitely wasn't the biggest fan of Kieran Gibbs or Ahmed Traoré. So it should be Monreal, but for variety purposes, I'm going to say Tierney. I'll go with Tierney. So centre half, Mertesacker, Koscielny, Tierney, Sagna at right back's a given. In goal, Leno. Central midfield, we're going to 4-3-3. I'm going to go with Santi Cazorla, Cesc Fabregas and Sami Nasri. Front options, you know, Aubameyang's going to play for me through the middle. Aubameyang's going to do a job for me on the left. Van Persie's going to go for me through the middle. And I'm going to have Alexis Sanchez on the right, to be fair with you. You know, I'd love to have got Aaron Ramsey, Mesut Ozil and Jack Wilshere within that team specifically. There are a couple of other players, you know, big up Arshavin, who should be in that team. I had a lot of time for him, but yeah, that's the lineup I would go with. Zaka said, if you could offer some advice / objectives to Oli and United, what would it be? Well, I mean, you know, Ollie's managed at the Premier League. What can a man in his room tell him? Man United's a big club. What can a man in their room tell me? To Man United, I'd say, remember your club's values. Remember what that club is about, because I think they've forgotten, boardroom level, forgotten those principles. For Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just simply play your best lineup, you know, sign the areas that need to be signed, and really ask yourself, are you the man for the role, really? Which he probably says he is. I don't really have any questions. You've also said, any grievances with Arteta? No, apart from if he sells Torreira and Guendouzi, because I like them both, but I understand it. And, you know, can you make some subs a bit more earlier, my guy? I love you, but can you make some subs a bit more earlier? I'd say that's about it. Other than that, 100% happy with Donny. Matilda has said, do you think in third world countries, if football leagues would be managed by private equity rather than the country, it would benefit a lot more, since it would be run like a business and less acts of fraud or embezzlement could happen? Well, yeah, when you've got crabs in a barrel mentality, I understand it, but at the same time, you know, corruption is, wherever there's money is going to be greed. So you could say this is going to be the same case, really. Philip has said, how do you think Arsenal will do in cup competitions realistically this season? I don't know. All I know is you need to get to the final of the Europa League minimum, nothing less. I would love to go back to the final of the FA Cup because we're the current holders. The Carling Cup, I'm not too sure. It's us all, you know, we're playing Lincoln or Liverpool in the next round, so we'll have to see where that one goes. In the top four might as well be a cup competition in itself. You know, only our performance over a 36-game period will decide that. And without a midfielder or two, I'm a bit pessimistic on our abilities to do such. Zach has also said, white rum or spice rum? Tough one, but I'm a white rum man. You know my... I should charge them for this, but you know my thing. You know my thing. That's my baby. Anyways, Brian has said, this is more of a statement than a question, but how are we supposed to trust referees if every time they make a point of trying to improve the game through rules changes, those are never enforced? I don't know, man. You've gone on to list a number of examples, and even yesterday, man, Bukayo Saka is blatantly taken out. How we never got a pen, I don't know. For me, it's like I tell my lads in Sunday League. It's like I used to tell the little kids when I coached Sunday League. It's like I used to tell myself, you know, don't rely on refs. You know, refs are, listen, refs should manage right. You know, I get angry when refs don't do their job properly. But at the same time, don't rely on them, because I expect mistakes from refs. I expect incompetencies. I don't have any trust in referees. So if we do our job, if I do my job, if we do our job, we don't have to worry about that. We know the refs against us. I'm sure you've played Sunday League. How many times has your manager said that? So I don't like to rely on refs. That being said, like Arsene Wenger famously said a few years ago, there's a reason these English refs are not going to major sporting events to represent the nation, because there's a true incompetence in this league. There's a lack of consistency in this league. Some incidences you might see, let's just say Arsenal versus Spurs, there's a handball incident, it's a penalty, but the same old context is in the next game where it might be Liverpool United. They literally the same thing has happened. It's not a penalty in that game. They make it up as they go along, and I just feel if there were if there was a bit more clarity, then we'd have a bit more trust. There's too many grey areas. There's too many contexts applying differently, accordingly. So we'll have to see, man. But I don't have much faith in refereeing. Let me quickly browse back to last week's Q&A show, people, quickly.
Right now in England, Wales and...
Obviously, got to make sure that ad gets played. Let's see if there's any questions. Oh, there is no other questions. You lot done me dirty. That's perfect, boy. We can keep it moving and get out of here quicker, people. You know, it is what it is. But it's been a lovely Q&A. It's been a calm little 25 minutes with you lot, man. You know, please keep a lookout for the community tab where I ask you again, you know, next week. Thank you very much for your questions. Please check out the rest of the content. People, I need you all to subscribe to AFC Edmonton. It's my Sunday League team. I don't own it. It's my guys' team. But we're starting to upload videos on YouTube. You can actually go and see me play. AFC Edmonton, 170 odd subs, man. Please, let's get that to 100, man. Please, go and support the team, man. It's just playing some Sunday League. We're not trying to be, you know, academy ballers and professional ballers. We're just a bunch of lads playing football, trying to, you know, better the team and see how far we can take it and build it into something, you know. So support us on our journey, man. Let's get to 100 subscribers over on that page. You can go and check out my failed volley, people, in that game, and you can go and see my numerous slide tackles, really. Also, please, thank you very much for your voting of the, you know, the Blacklist Award, sorry. Thank you very much. You guys have come heavy in that. If you voted already, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you haven't, please check out the description and vote. It takes 30 seconds of your time, people, and it would mean the world. I don't ask you lot for much. I'm not asking you lot to pay any money. I'm asking you lot for your time, literally 30 seconds. If you've got time to do that, then, you know, thank you in advance. If you don't, then you don't, in it. On that note, though, people, DG, I'm out. God bless. Stay safe.